Well, here's a topic I'm sure is going to get me in trouble with some of you, and that is the dangers of tapering benzos too slow, right? Now, I know what Ashton Manual says. I know what your doctors and people you've talked to in the support group say, go at your own pace. And that's great advice to a point, within reason, and here's why. Prolonged exposure to stress, to withdrawal, depression. We don't know if this doesn't cause PTSD. I think there's a good indication that if you sit 2, 3, 4, 5 years withdrawing, isolated, in darkness, not being able to move, migraines, heart flutters, anxiety, panic, and in that point, you're almost sure to lose jobs, to lose friends, to lose family, relationships, maybe even marriages. And things keep dwindling around you, and you're being stripped from your life. The longer you go through this hell, it's like being in war. The longer you sit in war, the worse it is for you. Now, alternatively, there's something to be said about going too fast. And a lot of people say, well, if I cold turkey, if my psychiatrist pulled me off in 3 weeks or 2 months, and do I have permanent brain injury, permanent brain damage? I would say overwhelmingly no. And again, people are going to react to this and go, what? But my situation. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm saying overwhelmingly no, because imagine the lawsuits. Imagine all this. I think what we see is we're an isolated group. We're seeing just our stories. And so it looks a certain way. I always say aspirin kills 3,000 people a year. If there was a forum and a group of people online talking about the dangers of aspirin, it'd be thousands of members, and we'd all go, wow, aspirin's really bad. But what we don't see is the 40 million a year that get better from aspirin, that get relief from aspirin, that manage heart problems with aspirin. So it's the same with benzos. Overwhelmingly, people do come off this drug, even a very short, quick time, and they get better. And I want to talk about, I'll get into this in the next video. There's actually sort of a wild card factor here, and that's people who were abusing the drug that came off the drug came off the drug, well, you would say too fast, but really they were just pulled off in rehab or they went to prison or something. And these people come out and they do better than most of the people that took 5 years and a slow taper. Now, we'll get into that in another video, but that's a really interesting phenomenon. And I've seen a lot of these people in AA and NA. I've talked to correctional officers that seen these people come off, incredibly high dosages of benzo in prison and jails and hospitals, and they're ripped from it, and they do get back to their life. And so, again, we'll get into that. There's a lot of factors in that, but that should be understood that there's a wild card out there, guys. People who taper too quick are not necessarily more damaged than the people that taper too long. And I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not even necessarily just trying to light a fire into your ass to say, let's keep this thing moving. But what I'm saying is, if you're 5 years out and you were just and you're still tapering and you're just going through hell, look at the pros and cons. Look at the risk and rewards of the situation and think, maybe it's time that I somehow go to a rehab or work on somehow tapering faster. Okay. Again, I know you guys are some of you guys, I can feel it already. You're gonna try to tear me apart on this one, but I'm telling you, the people that do the worst are not the people that came off too quick. That can be traumatic. Then that's also highly associated with much higher relapse rates, right? Because you came off too quick, it was overwhelming, and you couldn't handle it, and you didn't have time to adjust, so you go back up, sure. But there's a middle ground there. So my general rule is if what you're going through is going to take more than 2 years to come off, then you need help. You need maybe an SSRI, a rehab. You're going to need more help. If you can do it under 2 years and be pretty, you can keep your head above the water for that time, I think that's the best shot you have. So again, it's not about going too fast, it's not about going too slow, just right. Hey everyone, thanks for watching and listening. Please click the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content. And be sure to check out my book on Amazon, The Powers Manual, Benzo Guide to Recovery.